Are you a woman of faith who is struggling to navigate your current season of life? Do you feel like life is just happening to you instead of for you? My name is Jill Pack. I'm a certified life coach and a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I want you to know that no matter your season or circumstance, it is possible to create a more joyful life. And I would love to show you how. Are you ready? Let's go. Hello, friends. Welcome to the Seasons of Joy podcast. This is episode number 19, titled The Butterfly Effect. I want to begin by thanking you for being here and extend an invitation to you. I want to invite you to join my Seasons of Joy community Facebook group. I created this group so that I can offer teaching and coaching and a safe space for women of faith to support one another in our different seasons of life. Now tomorrow, Wednesday, July 20th, I will be going live at 11 a.m. Mountain Daylight Savings Time. We're going to be focusing on this month's topic, which is the season of care and connection. There's a link in the show notes, and I would love to have you join me. So today, when I began entering in to what I call my mid-season of life, I remember feeling a little bit lost, wondering what my purpose was. I'd been a stay-at-home mom for many years, raised my 5 children, and now suddenly my role as a mother was changing, and I believed that I didn't have a purpose anymore and that I needed to find it. This point in my life actually became an awakening of sorts for me in many ways, including understanding my purpose in this life. I've come to see this simple truth, that I am not the victim of my life's circumstances, and I would add, neither are you. Understanding this has allowed me to see things more clearly and more as they really are, and it has helped me to live more intentionally. Now, living with intention is a choice that we each make every single day. Making this choice to live with intention helps us to step into our divine identity, becoming a creator and a partner with God, assisting our heavenly parents in their work, loving and caring for our neighbors, and bringing people to Christ. As I was entering this mid-season, I was stuck on what my purpose was. I'd been a dancer, a grocery store checker, a sandwich maker, a student, a bookkeeper, a janitor, a children's music director, a PTA president, a secretary, a real estate agent, a member of my church community, a quilter, a runner, a hiker, a biker, a friend, a daughter, an aunt, a sister, a wife, and a mother. But what I have come to understand is that my purpose wasn't about any of those roles. A life purpose isn't about what I am doing, but about why I am doing it. What I do may change many times over the course of my life, because with each season of life comes with it different experiences and opportunities. But my why is behind all of those things. My why is what gives me direction. It gives me the desire to move forward. It is the fuel for what I do. My beliefs create the emotions that fuel what I do, which in turn help me become who I was meant to be. Allow me to show up in the world as who I want to be. In my very first podcast episode, I talk about my why behind this podcast. And one part of my why is to put good into the world, and another is to help bring people to Christ. We've all been given unique spiritual gifts, and that helps us in our purpose and to be God's hands here on earth. As Brooke Snow says, quote, "Knowing your purpose brings color to your world. It brings focus and intention. You know why you are here in this situation with these people and how to contribute." Unquote. Each one of us is impacting the world in some way through our life experiences. We live in a time when the opportunity to influence the world has never been greater. How do we want to leave the world when we leave the world? Do we just want to take from what others have left us, or do we want to leave the world a better place? There are so many ways to contribute in this world, and they are as unique as each one of us. I believe that a big part of caring and connecting with ourselves is getting a little perspective in order to discover our why. And this includes what author Andy Andrews calls living a life of permanent purpose. This is something from his book called The Butterfly Effect, thus the podcast title. And the subtitle of his book is How Your Life Matters. And I want to spend some time covering some of the ideas that he shares in this book. And in the very beginning of his book, he asks some questions. He poses these questions for each one of us to consider. And I'm going to phrase it in not singular, about I. I'm going to replace the word I with you. So, how significant is your life? Do you make a difference? When you move, when you act, when you do something, does the universe notice? Do you really matter? So again, the title of this book is The Butterfly Effect, which is based on a hypothesis, an idea called the butterfly effect. He talks about the story behind this idea, and it began in 1963. Edward Lorenz presented a hypothesis to the New York Academy of Science. And his theory was this, that when a butterfly would flap its wings, the molecules of air would be set in motion. And that in turn would move more molecules of air, and so on, eventually capable of starting a hurricane on the other side of the planet. Lorenz was laughed at, and his hypothesis was considered preposterous, ridiculous at that, but at the same time, fascinating. It would go on to become a myth and a legend for many years. However, 30 years later, some physics professors from around the world actually came to the conclusion that the butterfly effect was authentic, accurate, and viable. The butterfly effect attained the status of a law, known as the law of sensitive dependence upon initial conditions. Say that 5 times. Science has shown that the butterfly effect is a force that encompasses more than just the movement of butterfly wings, but it includes people. He shares a few stories within his book, and I just want to highlight one of them to make the point. The story is about a gentleman named Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain. He was 34 years old and was a school teacher. And in 1863, Joshua Chamberlain was a colonel in the Union Army fighting at Gettysburg. He was in a fight for his life and made a choice that July day that affects all of us to this day. Chamberlain chose to not back down against all odds. He chose to move. One final charge with his group of 80 battered men up against an enemy 5 times their size. This one move changed the war. Chamberlain captured over 400 Confederate soldiers that day. Now, historians have determined that if Chamberlain hadn't directed that final charge of the depleted Union forces, that the rebels probably would have won at Gettysburg. And they also believe that if the rebels would have won at Gettysburg, the South would have won the war. And the war would have been over by the end of the summer, leaving North America divided into 9 to 13 fragmented colonies. There would be no United States, a country that has made a profound impact on the world for the better. Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain is a human example of the butterfly effect. His influence touches our lives today. You and I are no less of an example of the butterfly effect that Chamberlain was. Looking backwards at his story, it doesn't just begin with Chamberlain. And how far would we need to go back and look and see where and whose actions really made the biggest impact? Now, the author also points out that this is the same going forward. How far would we need to go in our life to show the difference that we each make? And I would say forever. Because the truth is, you matter. You make a difference in the world, now and in the future. People will be influenced by you. Their lives will be shaped and shifted by the moves you make and the actions you take. Andy Andrews ends with this: And I will quote him because he says it so well. Quote, "You have been created as one of a kind. On planet Earth, there has never been one like you, and there never will be again. Your spirit, your thoughts, your feelings, your ability to reason and act all exist in no one else. The rarities that make you special are no mere accident or quirk of fate. You have been created in order that you might make a difference. You have within you the power to change the world. Know that your actions cannot be hoarded, saved for later, or used selectively. By your hand, millions, billions of lives will be altered, caught upon in a chain of events by you this day. The very beating of your heart has meaning and purpose. Your actions have value far greater than silver and gold. Your life and what you do with it today matters forever." Unquote. How would your life be different if you truly believed that you matter? What have you been created for? How might you make a difference? You have the power to change the world, your life. You matter. I want to end this episode with mentioning the new nationwide 3-digit mental health crisis hotline that just went live last week, 988. It is designed to be easy to remember and use as 911, but instead of a dispatcher sending police, firefighters, or paramedics, 988 will connect callers with trained mental health counselors. This is absolutely amazing, and let's share it with everyone so that we can help make a difference in the world today. Next week, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 steps that will help you in your life purpose discovery. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you hear, I would love it if you would share it with your friends and family and leave me a rating and review. If you'd like to learn more about what life coaching is, please schedule a free discovery call with me where we can work together through something that's causing you a problem. Just go to my website, seasons-coaching.com, and you can also find information about my Seasons of Joy one-on-one coaching program and my Seasons of Joy community. Have a joyful week, and I'll see you next time.